Rise in freedom. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. It's election day. It's time to talk about how grassroots voters are stepping up while D.C. falls flat, and what the New Jersey governor's race tells us about the power of knocking on doors versus sitting on your hands. I see a lot of you sitting on your hands. You need to get your butts up and get out there and vote, or maybe go knock on your neighbor's door and take them with you to the polls. Don't go, guys. It's time for us to fight for our freedom. A lot of people talk about fighting for freedom, fighting for liberty, fighting for the Constitution. A lot of people post memes about it. Primarily me. That's me posting those memes. But hey, I fight for it too. And my next guest, he doesn't even post memes. He just gets out there and fights for liberty. His name's Cliff Maloney. He's talking to us about the New Jersey turning red story. Could be. What's up, Cliff? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, AP. Always glad to be back here on Wake Up America. I mean, I think it's a heck of a day. Ask me in 12 hours how I'm doing.
I bet you're a little shaky right now because, I mean, I'm looking at recent polling puts the Democrat at 49% and the Republican Jack Ciattarelli at 48%. That is a stunning collapse of what was once a 20-point summer lead. What have you been doing out there? Are you drugging people, Cliff?
We've been knocking quite a few doors. Look, I went on your show probably 100 times in 2024 to talk about our work in Pennsylvania. You know, after the smashing success, we were getting calls from everywhere. So we picked up a couple sniper type targets in Virginia. And obviously we're doing the statewide with the New Jersey Chase program. Austin, we've knocked, I won't announce it because it's not true yet, but in the next 2 hours, we're going to hit our 500,000th door in both Jersey and PA.
Whoa.
Indoors this year, so we're very excited about that. But look, I don't know if Jack's going to win. Okay, I like to be honest with people. I don't like to do the hype and the sensationalism and we're going to win, we're going to win. I like to be honest with our activists and our community and our donors and our door knockers. I don't know if he's going to win, but I know he's in it and it is competitive and there is a chance that we pull this off. And Austin, if I would have told you a year ago that we were going to flip New Jersey, I would have thought you were crazy. So there's an opportunity here. I'm really hoping we pull it out. He's going to have to win Election Day by roughly 295,000 votes. He won Election Day back in 2021 by 200 and change. So he's going to have record turnout. He's going to have to get people to come out. And hopefully we turned out enough of those that weren't going to vote on Election Day to vote by mail or vote early. But that's what this day is about. Can he win Election Day by 300,000 as the margin he wins by today?
Yeah, there's only one other place where I like to tell people that they should direct their coffee money that normally goes to Founding Flavors here at our shop, and that's to Cliff Maloney and his doors win wars attitude. The New Jersey Chase, from molded out of the fires of the victory of the Pennsylvania Chase. Now we're seeing a tightening of polls due to the work of good men like Cliff. But how much of what we've seen in terms of the polls tightening between these two candidates, how much of it do you attribute to field operations, what you guys are doing, versus also things like changing voter sentiment? So taxes and energy, right? The voters themselves are starting to lean right in certain ways, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of two things. One is the actual message of the campaign. Okay, that I get no credit for. That credit goes to Jack Ciattarelli, that goes to his team, that goes to Trump, that goes to kind of the national apparatus of what are voters consuming, how are voters feeling about current policy, and that's not my world, right? Yes, we talk to voters at the door, but the reality is candidates have to drive whether they're talking about affordability, they're talking about taxes, they're talking about immigration policy, jobs, putting food on the table, the cost of living. The candidate in Jack Ciattarelli has rocked that. He has done such a great job. It's always nice. You know, I've done some races where I'm not on the side of the candidate that's actually a good candidate. You know, and Mikey Sherrill is just a horrendous candidate. Like it could not be a better situation. The second part to that is, yes, we've got the ground game. We've got coalitions with people like Scott Pressler, people like Turning Point Action. We've got groups like America First Works, Heritage, all of these groups, right? The county parties, the state party, right? Not one person or organization gets credit, but you have this coalition coming together in New Jersey that really makes it possible for him to win. That's why the polls are closing. That's why the polls are tightening the way they are, because people are hearing the message and we're doing the work to compete in the election. It's got to be both.
I'm speaking to Cliff Maloney this morning in the New Jersey chase. It's election day. What do you think of the top two issues in New Jersey that you think voters want address? And do you think that the Republican Party is speaking to the top issues?
Yeah, number one, far and away, is electric bills. It's very interesting. Don't take this the wrong way, as I know you're in Missouri and I'm a PA guy by heart, but it's like you go into certain states and you didn't realize things were problems, and that's all everybody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so the electric bills, the energy costs in New Jersey have just skyrocketed under Democrat leadership. I mean, pretty brutal. And so that's the number one issue. And then the rest of them are what you'd expect, right? They want to talk about illegal immigration. They want to talk about the cost of living and just inflation. You get back to jobs. And, I mean, it's a lot of, do you want a working class or somebody that represents working class, or do you want somebody that represents kind of more the elitist bubble? And Austin, think about this dichotomy. It's just for your whole audience. Imagine New York City elects a socialist and New Jersey elects a Republican. Is there ever more of a time where the difference between the elitist bubble that is the New York City folks electing a socialist compared to the working class folks of New Jersey who say, listen, we're going to go with Jack Ciattarelli? That to me is like, I'm not rooting for the socialist, but if the socialist wins, which he likely will, I really, really would be interested to see, how Jack can kind of push back. He's already said to people, hey, if you want to escape New York City with your socialists, come to Jersey. We'd love to have you. I just think it's a huge opportunity.
One of the big conversations surrounding the Jack Ciattarelli campaign is that he's got Trump's endorsement, and some people see that as potentially a liability in deep blue New Jersey. What do you think? Embracing Trump, a good thing, bad thing? What have voters said when you knock on the doors about his relationship with Trump?
Yeah, well, why do you think Mikey Sherrill pulled her ad when she was calling him a MAGA extremist? Things are very different in 2025 compared to 2021. What I mean is, people say that Trump's endorsement, he's got some pretty solid numbers in New Jersey. And even if you say, oh, well, his numbers are this or they're that, you need to turn out every single Republican to win this election. Jack also plays well with the independents, right? There are certain polls where independents are breaking the Jack at 10 points or more an advantage. So it's very different than the things I'm used to, which is usually independents are breaking the wrong way. Jack's the opposite. Usually Trump is something where people are trying to figure out, well, how does it fit in politically? Mikey Sherrill ran an ad calling Jack Ciattarelli a super MAGA guy, and his numbers only intensified. She was educating America First folks that Jack Ciattarelli is an America First guy. And so, she spent all this money trying to call him a radical, and it only helped him. So I don't know. Look, people can make all these predictions. Trump's not on the ballot. In my world, that's a problem when it comes to turnout, right? And so that's the work we're doing, is to try to figure out, how do we get a lot of these people that voted last year that typically don't vote in off years, how do we get them to come out and vote? And that's been the point of the chase. That's been the success we've had. Folks can get involved at njchase.com, njchase.com. But today's election day, and we're not going to stop until the polls close at 8 p.m.
Cliff, have there been any memorable knock-on-door moments from this campaign? Any particular conversations that stood out to you that, deeply humanizing, deeply personal, or that really made you think or stood out in some way?
So yesterday I was in Camden, in Jersey, and I'm just going to share this because it's on the back of my mind. So we knocked on the door where they had a Trump sign in the front yard and a Jack Ciattarelli sign in the front yard. There were 3 people at the house that were all registered Republicans that have not voted since like 2018. And of course, we go up to the door, and that's the conversation, is like, hey, you have a ballot here. Could we get you to send that back? And of course, they're all in. We love Jack. We love Trump, right? These are not doors, Austin, where I have to convince people or persuade them. The persuading is for them to actually realize that their vote has value and they need to vote. And I share that with you because it wasn't some deep conversation, but it's just very eye-opening. You had 3 people that all had mail-in ballots. And as of yesterday, they had not sent them back. They have not voted since 2018, and they have a Chitterelli and a Trump sign in their front yard, right? The game is completely different. People think like, oh, it's got to have the perfect message. It's like, no, the votes happen for months at a time. You just have to go out and remind your people. And in states like New Jersey, it's tougher than PA because there's not, there's a much bigger gap in registration. So we have a bigger hole to fill. But the folks are out there. And I do feel like the more we have these conversations at the door, we're just developing habit. We're teaching people to continuously remember this is how you vote. It's much easier and it's working.
Cliff, you've built a machine in Pennsylvania and now in New Jersey. If you win, your fortunes, are really going to change. Do you become that person that you have talked smack about for years? Do you become the ultimate political consultant? Does this change your life?
I can't wait. I'm going to go into TV ad buying only and make my 15% commission. have old clips.
We all know.
Where I'm calling them out.
We all know.
Listen, I don't want to say too much in terms of, what our plans are for 2026. I'll commit to come back on the show and announce that. But we're really looking at expanding, right? We're looking at different areas and places we can go and what we can do. And look, we're, doors win wars is not some slogan just to be a slogan. We believe it here at Citizens Alliance. And so we're always looking for what are the key battles we can fight to use that tactic of knocking doors. And I think we're going to have, tons of opportunity in 2026. And I'm excited to see how that pans out.
Cliff, is there anything that we've missed in this discussion? We didn't get to mention Virginia. I know that you guys aren't doing statewide there, but you've got some local races, perhaps. Is there anything else on your radar that you think is worthy of mentioning before we let you go today?
Just last thing I'll say is while we're in New Jersey and while we're doing a couple races in Virginia, PA is still the red wall that we are working to build. So we will knock 500,000 doors there as of today as well. And so when people ask me, what's the long-term vision? It's still by 2028, make Pennsylvania that red wall so that the commies cannot win a national election again for a long time. Obviously hoping that we have liberty candidates and America First warriors on the Republican side. But that's it. Folks can find me on X at Maloney. And Austin, your audience has always been some of the most loyal. NJChase.com if folks want to get involved. Sponsor a pizza for tonight's after party for the ballot chasers. Let's see if we can pull one of these out. Thanks for having me.
Do it, guys. Go buy a pizza for these guys. They're working their butts off to try and make sure that you and your kids get to live in a freer country. That's Cliff Maloney. Always on the Freedom Watch. He's the night watchman. Have a good one, Cliff, and we'll see you again tomorrow.